Electroforming is taking a natural item and plating it in copper. And how that happens is you take the item and you give it a protective coating of usually enamel lacquer, so it's going to stand up to the harsh acid of the bath. Once it's kind of stabilized with its enamel coating, you apply a glue-based graphite solution so it will be conductive. So everywhere I want copper to grow gets painted with a conductive material. If I don't want copper to grow, I cover it with latex, and that will keep it from growing. And then it goes into an acid bath, which is filled with copper sulfate, distilled water, some battery acid, and magic. And it hangs from a copper bar with an electric current. And over time, low and slow, copper will grow wherever the graphite is. This crazy journey of mine started in 2010. We moved here from Illinois, and I was combing the beach for rocks because I've always been a stoner. When I found this rock on the beach, she was a plain looking rock with a crystal center that's called a vug. It's an awful name for a naturally occurring thing where it's like a cavern of crystal. I found it on the beach, and so I wanted to make her into a necklace, but it was really expensive when I priced it out, and justifiably so. But I thought I can do this myself. I had a background in art. My mom was an artist and a jewelry maker, so I was familiar with the process. What I didn't know was how much waste and swearing there would be as you burn through wire trying to make it right. So I remade her probably 6 times, but I finally settled on a design I liked, and then I really was comfortable with the tools, and I had all these other rocks laying around, so I just started making things. So I started out originally as a wire wrapper. I was a rapper, I was a stoner. But arthritis has had other ideas, and using tools and doing that kind of stuff over and over again takes its toll. So 3 years ago, I decided to dive into this process, which I didn't know was called electroforming. I knew I had seen crystals with copper tops, and so I was Googling copper top. And if you do that, you're gonna get a zillion pictures of batteries, right? I didn't know what the process was called, but I met an artist at a show, and she was doing it, and I said, "What is your process called?" And she said, "You mean electroforming?" And I said, "That's it, that's the word I was looking for." And once I had the terminology, there were very few people doing it at that time, and there was just a little bit of information, but it was enough. And because I have a science background, I didn't feel intimidated by the chemicals and the electricity and all the cool, dangerous stuff. So it was really just trial and error. I make, they call it raw earthy jewelry for hippies. But yeah, just natural jewelry, just about it being raw and earthy, not overproduced, not synthetic, but just as close to nature as you can be. To be able to create something that's like a talisman of what we should be doing more of, which is getting outside, feels really good to me. I do like my metaphysics. We've been called woo-woos, and I do like that, but you can't deny the science of things being made out of molecules, and molecules give off energy. They vibrate as electrons transform and things. So we talk about vibrational energy. I talk about crystals being used as a tool for wellness. A lot of people are attracted to crystals because of how they look or their properties, or they just feel good to hold. And that's because you're drawn to the energy. Sometimes people will say, "I really like that rock. I don't know why, I just do." And I think, I know why. Because I know what that rock can do for you. But just go with it. Take it home and set it next to your bed and enjoy the energy it gives you. I love the fact that copper is considered a sacred element. I love the feeling of copper, I love the way it looks, and I love the unpredictability of it. Like when you pull it out of the bath, it could be bright and shiny, sometimes you get weird texture. I love that. I love the way it looks. I imagine it's kind of like a potter pulling something out of a kiln. Like you kind of think you know what's gonna happen, but it's always a surprise when you open the door. It's always a surprise when I lift them out of the bath too. I've been asked to recreate for people that I really like the feather she walked away with. Can I have one like that? You can have a feather that's plated in copper, but it's not going to look like that. I mean, it'll look similar, but never perfectly the same. So I'm a Sagittarius, so I get bored easily, and I like the unpredictable nature of what I do. I also like the fact that people have given me leaves from special vacations. I had one girl that brought me a leaf from a tree her parents planted when they first got married, and her mom had passed away, so she wanted me to make the leaf into something to help remember them and remember that tree. So there's more than just the beauty of it, there's also some good memories and things that can happen too.